It's Thursday, September 18th. This is CTV at 6. Here's what's making news tonight. Some schools stopped playing O Canada. Then the minister got involved. The U.S. ambassador to Canada is in the Maritimes and joins us in conversation.
Behind the scattered showers on Friday will come clearing and a cool down in temperature for the start of the weekend.
Live from our Maritimes News Center, this is CTV News at 6. Here is Todd Battis.
Good evening. CTV News has learned several schools in Nova Scotia stopped playing the national anthem each morning. After some complaints, the Minister of Education has demanded the practice of playing O Canada resume. CTV's Callum Smith reports.
Students at CPA High School in Bedford haven't heard the national anthem to start their day, and they're not alone.
There was a handful of schools that weren't playing it.
But how it came to the minister's attention was hearing from students directly.
It's really kind of neat to see them that engaged, that wrote some letters, and we looked into it, and we just saw that there was no consistent policy.
One of them was grade 12 student Casey Min, who doesn't recall hearing the anthem since his first day of high school 2 years ago.
I think it's important to, be patriotic. We thank the land, we thank this country for the opportunity. For myself, I'm an immigrant here. I thank this country for all the opportunity I had. So I think it's really important to stand up for our values, patriotism for Canada.
He and a couple friends penned a letter earlier this week with numerous signatures. The minister quickly issued a new policy mandating all schools play the anthem each morning. But the Halifax Regional Centre for Education has had one, first adopted over 15 years ago. So they were taken aback when they heard about CPA.
I mean, certainly that was a surprise.
HRCE reached out to all schools today, reminding them of their own policy and sharing the new provincial one.
I just kind of thought back to when I was a child, and you'd go to school and the anthem would play, and it was kind of like a peaceful moment of reflection. And so I thought, there are a lot of kids that want that. There are a lot of staff that want that.
CTV couldn't speak to CPA's principal because they're on leave.
I can't speak to the specifics as to why there was a change in practice at this particular school, but certainly can say that the anthem will be played tomorrow and every day going forward in adherence to the policy.
These students appreciate seeing quick action and being able to make a difference.
I think that is a beautiful thing. I think it's important because we are honoring the people who came before us, who built this country and who fought in various wars to protect our freedom.
Now, it's not clear exactly how long this has been an issue or exactly how many schools, but all it took was some students speaking up and voicing their concern. Todd.
All right, Callum, in the News Center tonight. Thank you. We're going to make this the CTV web poll this evening, and we're asking, should schools be required to play the national anthem? Your options are yes, it's a symbol of honor and pride. No, it's forced patriotism, or it should be encouraged but not required. We'd like to hear from you. Give us your opinion at CTV News Atlantic. .ca. More and more people in our region are leaving emergency departments and hospitals before seeing a physician, and many of them are in urgent need of medical care. CTV's Laura Brown looks at the numbers.
It was crowded. It was a lot of people in distress.
Peter Phillips says he was struggling with pain in his chest. The Moncton resident had undergone quadruple bypass surgery months earlier, so he went to the George Dumas Hospital ER. After 6 hours, he left.
You think, well, if I'm going to die, I might as well die at home. Why would I die in a hard chair in a waiting room, right?
He's part of an increasing number of patients who have left an emergency room without being treated, according to the Montreal Economic Institute. In 2024, 9.84% left untreated in Nova Scotia, 12.85% in New Brunswick, and the highest in the country, 14.15% in Prince Edward Island. The national average, 7.78%. Particularly concerning, over half of Nova Scotia patients are leaving despite being triaged as level 2 or 3, meaning urgent or very urgent.
So that's pretty severe.
Samantha Dagra suggests looking to France, where physicians established immediate care centers to steer people away from the ER.
Of course, there's been initiatives to start up nurse practitioner clinics and pharmacy-led clinics, but we're not seeing it scale fast enough.
Nova Scotia's health minister says they're trying to treat more people as they wait.
So you can still perhaps have blood work. You can still perhaps have a cardiogram. You can still maybe have some diagnostic imaging if that's what's required. So your treatment can actually start in the waiting room.
Phillips says he wasn't the only one who left the ER that day. Shortly after, he started an online group for New Brunswickers to share their healthcare stories.
We shouldn't accept that. I mean, you know, we're throwing millions of dollars of taxpayers' money at a system that should be a little more accountable to us, I think. And it's not, and people are dying. It's sad.
In a separate study, the Institute found that 10% of ER visits nationwide are to fill a prescription, and those people are turning to the ER as a last resort. Todd.
Laura Brown at the Chalmers Hospital in Fredericton. Nova Scotia Power has submitted its application for rate increases to the Provincial Energy Board. It outlines a nearly 4% residential jump over the next 2 years. The utility submitted its application to the Nova Scotia Energy Board today. If the proposal is approved, it's expected to see increases in residential rates by roughly 3.9% in both 2026 and 2027, slightly less than the expected rise of about 4.1% in both of those years. Trade talks between Canada and the United States continue to drag on. It's been several months. Today, the U.S. ambassador to Canada was in Halifax, where he answered questions about negotiations. CTV's Jesse Thomas has more.
The U.S. ambassador to Canada was on the defensive in Halifax, accusing Canada of playing hardball when it comes to trade talks. Pete Hoekstra repeatedly told the Halifax Chamber of Commerce that Canada has it wrong, saying this isn't a trade war, but merely negotiations.
The cabinet's now saying that we're at war with America. That doesn't help, okay? That doesn't help. An American opinion. Okay, maybe in Canada saying we're at war, maybe that's something that Canadians stand up and say, yes, 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 okay, we have an enemy. I don't think so. I know a little bit about Canada.
Hoekstra warned calling it a war is misleading and dangerous.
No, we're not at war. If the president thought he was at war with Canada, you'd see a whole different kind of relationship and trade negotiations.
He then took aim at politicians who've called for Canadians to boycott U.S. travel and American products like alcohol, suggesting Americans aren't stooping to that level.
We don't say don't go to Canada.
But while politicians argue over words, small businesses are feeling the impact. The Canadian Federation of Independent Business says tariffs and trade talks are leading to economic uncertainty, and they call on Nova Scotia to dip into its $200 million tariff contingency fund.
But we just have no clarity on what the province is going to do with that fund here, and we do need clarity. That would add certainty. We know of small businesses who could tap into funds, and they need those supports, and it's on the province to really give a clear answer on this.
The province's finance minister, John Lohr, wouldn't answer questions regarding the contingency fund or what impact tariffs are having on the economy, promising instead to answer those questions on Monday at a fiscal update. Jesse Thomas, CTV News, Halifax.
And the ambassador will be our guest in our interview segment. That's just after 6:30. You can read more about his visit to the Maritimes at ctvnewsatlantic.ca. Woods restrictions have been lifted in Nova Scotia, except in Annapolis County. The province lifted the ban in all remaining counties late this afternoon. The Long Lake fire continues to burn but is still being held. Restrictions will remain in place in the Annapolis County area until October 15th or until things improve. A fire ban remains in place for the entire province. The fine for violating the woods ban in Annapolis County or the burn ban remains at $25,000. There's a live look right now at Lunenburg and the waterfront. Some scattered clouds as evening approaches. Let's bring in Kaylin Mitchell for a first look at the weather. And boy, it was a beautiful day and particularly warm in parts of New Brunswick.
Oh, it sure was, with the sun shining through in areas of that province this afternoon. Some high temperatures got up towards the mid to high 20s. The other nice thing about today was, though, we did see a little bit of moisture in the region in the form Some scattered showers, and of course we know we very much need the rain in the Maritimes. We're just talking about the Annapolis County area. Remember that part of the region has been particularly dry, and a weather station in the Annapolis Valley only sitting at around 4% of the average amount of rain for the month of September. We do still have some scattered showers making their way across Prince Edward Island this evening, maybe some isolated showers around eastern areas of Nova Scotia, including Cape Breton. It really didn't bring in that much rain, though. I was checking in reports on rainfall totals with sort of the showery conditions for today, in a lot of cases up to or even less than 1 millimeter. And of course, we know we need lots more than that. Taking a look at our weather systems map as we zoom out, this is along a northern edge of a low pressure system that was stalled out around the eastern seaboard of the United States over the past couple of days. Brought in a tremendous amount of rain for some coastal areas of the U.S., including for the state of Virginia. Some coastal areas seeing between 100 and 300 millimeters of rain. The next part of this weather system to move through is actually a cold front from the west. That's going to be bringing some further scattered showers to parts of the Maritimes for both tonight as well as for tomorrow. Again, though, you should temper your expectations as far as the total rainfall amounts go. It looks like it's mostly going to be light. Be lucky maybe to pick up a couple millimeters. Quick update on Tropical Storm Gabrielle. Gabrielle tropical storm, 85 kilometers per hour, is expected to strengthen to a hurricane as it starts to make its way towards, but maybe not quite reaching Bermuda before it moves off towards the North Atlantic. And that, of course, keeps it far away from us here in the Maritimes and Atlantic Canada as well. Todd.
Well, that's certainly good news. You called it a drop in the bucket a little earlier, the precipitation that fell, and really that's all it was.
Literally a few drops in the bucket.
Yeah. Okay, we'll see you later in the show for the full forecast. We'll stay with the weather theme. Normally, there's great anticipation in the fields around harvest time, but our dry summer has soured much of it. Some farmers are plowing undersized pumpkins into the ground. Others are already using winter feed for hungry herds. CTV's Jonathan McGinnis is in the Annapolis Valley.
After picking what he could, Andrew Johnson is now plowing under what's left of his pumpkin patch. Normally, they'd get 20 to 30 bins full. This year, they got 2.
The pumpkins in June were looking normal. They had a nice 5-leaf stage, and they were starting to get their blossoms going. And then middle of June, it just stopped raining, and it really hasn't had any significant rain since.
Shriveled, brittle leaves and undersized gourds are the result.
We've suffered a terrible drought this year. These plants have been very stressed. This should be green and lush and full of pumpkins.
It's just as bad in Brian Newcomb's soybean field. Soybeans provide the main source of protein for his chickens and livestock. He says he'll be lucky to get half of what he needs.
Means we're going to have to go out and purchase feed for the year because we're not going to have enough to feed everything.
No rain means no grass for grazing for Leonard Rand's cattle. After a good first cut in early summer, he was optimistic about his winter hay supply. But with no rain, that's all he got.
Normally, we'll start putting out a little bit of hay, usually in the end of September. This year, we started the 3rd week of July.
Over in the orchard, Gravenstein's, too heavy for the branches, have fallen to the ground.
And that has to do with the dry weather, the drought that we've experienced. The slightest breeze and those apples are falling off the trees.
A difficult year all around, as farmers look to salvage what they can from their fields or just plow them under. Well, Todd, from the polar vortex to floods to this summer's drought, it's been a tough few years for farmers, but they will regroup and be back at it again next year, hoping for the best, but preparing for the worst. Todd.
Like they always do. Thank you, John, in Port Williams. With a multi-year contract in their pocket, the faculty at Dalhousie University is returning to class with a smile. For students who have lost time, learning, and money, questions remain. CTV's Emma Convey reports.
A sense of relief for second-year student Hannah Ranson, now that her full schedule of classes will start up Tuesday. With 3 weeks lost, she's worried what her semester will look like.
It's really important for me to get back into it. Otherwise, I'll be super behind for the exams.
This comes after almost a month-long lockout. A dispute between Dalhousie University and the union representing nearly 1,000 professors, librarians, and other faculty. Now a new 3-year agreement has been ratified.
We'll be able to keep pace with cost of living in Nova Scotia for the next 3 years, which is important. We were able to make some gains in the area of precarious work, so some of our contract Teachers will be seeing a pathway to having their contracts made permanent. We were able to make some particular advances for our early career faculty members.
The Faculty Association says members are back today, but there is no word on whether they will work through Reading Week, a week-long break in November. A shortened term could mean dropped curriculum.
Other programs that don't have flexibility, like professional things like law, like nursing, they're just going to have to cover more content in less time.
Dalhousie did not provide CTV News with answers to questions, including whether students will receive compensation for missed classes or whether the semester will be extended.
I've actually already missed final exams and whole classes at this stage. We have these things called intensives. They're mostly done.
The student union at Dalhousie University is calling for compensation on tuition for lost class time.
3 weeks of the semester is what we've lost right now, and that's about 21% of a semester, so we're asking for 21% off of tuition.
Dalhousie says because of the lockout, the final date to add or drop courses and the tuition fees deadline is now October 7th. And there will be a meeting Monday to discuss possible changes to the fall break and December exam schedule. Emma Convey, CTV News, Halifax.
Get the Maritime's top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
Moncton businessman and owner of the Moncton Wildcats hockey team is being treated for cancer. According to a representative, Robert Irving has had successful surgery for cancer. He's now undergoing treatment. His brother and co-CEO Jim Irving will be handling operations for the company while Robert recovers. J.D. Irving employs about 20,000 people in industries like agriculture, forestry, and shipbuilding. The impact of an electric school bus fire in Montreal last week is being felt here at home, with several buses being pulled off Maritime roads. CTV's Derek Haggett has an update.
A total of 22 electric school buses have been pulled off New Brunswick's roads for safety reasons. The province is working with Lion, a Quebec-based electric bus company, to make repairs and get them back on the road safely. Inspections were conducted on Lion buses on Prince Edward Island last weekend, but it's not known on how many. The province says minor repairs were done and electric school buses are safe and back in service.
What does that mean? Is that a short-term repair? Is there long-term that's needed? And basically at the end of the day, what is the status of that?
A Lion electric school bus burst into flames in Montreal last Tuesday. The driver and 6 children managed to exit the vehicle safely. All 1,200 Lion electric school buses were pulled from service in Quebec so inspectors could examine the wiring and electrical connections. A company spokesman says they've worked closely with Transport Canada. We share detailed inspection measures with them. As the verifications are carried out and vehicle compliance is confirmed by operators, buses will progressively and safely return to the road. Simpson thinks parents deserve more clarity from the PEI government.
To have a better understanding of what was done on the weekend and what, if anything, is still outstanding.
Routes were canceled in Moncton on Monday, but the district has since secured temporary resources. The St. John area district hasn't had any disruption to service. The province of Nova Scotia does not have any electric school buses, and their contractors don't use them either. Derek Haggett, CTV News, Moncton.
Okay, time now for a break. A mild Friday, then a cool start to the weekend. Kaylin has the weather details, but next, feeling the pinch.
Our groceries have gone up anywhere from $100 to $150.
We'll tell you about new polling on personal finances and how many of us are feeling, well, concerned about what's in the wallets. How are you feeling about your money? Optimism over personal finances has dropped to record lows, according to a new poll, with just slightly more than 10% of Canadians saying they're better off now than they were a year ago. Josh Smith breaks down the numbers.
People were asked whether their personal finances were better or worse off or the same over the past year. And when we checked with people at the grocery store in Moncton, the answers were the same.
Everything costs more today. Inflation is much.
In the latest Nanos poll, consumer confidence is at its worst since 2008. Only about 1 in 10 found that their finances were better off in the past 12 months, inflation being a major factor.
It has a major effect on our youth, 18 to 25 group, but it also, people don't forget seniors. Seniors are on a fixed income.
People also express concerns about U.S. relations, housing, and immigration. But inflation topped the list.
Yeah, our groceries have gone up anywhere from $100 to $150.
The report also looked at people's pocketbook issues, how secure they feel about their jobs, and whether their paychecks can keep up with the cost of food and clothing.
I don't know what people with kids, how they do it. When you go to the grocery store, you can see the difference.
The pain extends beyond the grocery aisle. This thrift clothing store in Shediac has seen more traffic in recent months.
Our volume and our sales this summer were tremendous. Even now, when it's usually a slower time of year, we're still doing really quite well. But for the most part, yeah, we have a lot more people coming in, just looking for everything.
To most people we spoke with today, inflation isn't numbers on a chart. It's the grocery bill, the price tag on a winter coat. And until those costs come down, people's confidence will likely remain at rock bottom. Josh Smith, CTV News, Shediac, New Brunswick.
Well, this would certainly improve your financial outlook. Atlantic Lottery says a ticket sold in Miramichi for yesterday's draw of Lotto 649, and that it's a gold ball guaranteed prize winner worth $1 million. Now, details on who the winner is will be released when that person skips and dances into the headquarters there of Atlantic Lottery in Moncton. Still to come, a mild Friday, then a cool start to the weekend. Kaylin is working up the full forecast. We'll have the details for you right after this. Top right corner, everybody in that cruise ship is getting an authentic St. John experience.
Buy the shirt. Was fogged in St. John.
But it was a decent day in the port city.
Yeah, you know what? It really was. They did have a couple showers that moved through. They're getting that fog present around the coast now because of the southwest wind. But it was also very mild as far as standards go or averages go for mid-September. We'll get back to weather in the Maritimes in a moment. Let's take a quick look at weather conditions across the country. Lots of sunshine out west. Victoria, Vancouver, sitting in the high teens, very bright, sunny conditions there. Calgary seeing some sunshine at 21 degrees, near 19 for Saskatoon and Regina, 17 at Winnipeg. Up north, 14 at Whitehorse, 18 at Yellowknife. Cooler, 5 degrees at Iqaluit and reporting some rain. Much warmer in southern Ontario. Hot even. Look at 29 at Windsor right now and 29 at Toronto. 26 for Montreal. Fredericton sitting at 24 degrees. We've got 20s at both Halifax and Charlottetown. And very mild for St. John's this evening, sitting at 17. Taking a look at our timeline for cloud cover and precipitation tonight in the region. Partly cloudy conditions. There'll be some fog patches. We just saw that on the camera in around St. John. The fog will be most widespread around parts of the Bay of Fundy coastline in New Brunswick and parts of the Atlantic coastline of Nova Scotia. There will also be some scattered showers that come through parts of the region for tonight. Northern areas of New Brunswick and maybe a few more isolated showers to clear through the east of Nova Scotia, including locations in Cape Breton. Now, the line of scattered showers coming into the north of New Brunswick for tonight by the start of the day for tomorrow is down into central and southern parts of that province, as well as approaching western parts of Prince Edward Island. As we move from Friday morning into Friday afternoon, those scattered showers will cross Prince Edward Island and get into northern and eastern areas of Nova Scotia with a lower chance of some isolated showers in the southwest of Nova Scotia. Later Friday evening and Friday night, any remaining showers will be coming to an end. High pressure will be moving in from the west, and that'll give us clearing conditions into the start of the weekend. Once again, in the showers in the forecast where they do occur tonight and for tomorrow, we'll be lucky to see a few millimeters of rain out of them. Now, in behind the front moving through, we are going to see a change in the wind direction for Friday afternoon. The wind becoming northwest. It'll be sustained 15 to 30 kilometers per hour with a few occasional gusts between 30 and 40 kilometers per hour. It is that northwest wind that does bring in some cooler air as we continue through Friday night and into the start of the weekend. Taking a look at low temperatures in the forecast for tonight, though, they are not particularly cool. Most lows will be around the low to mid-teens. A little bit cooler than that up around the northwest New Brunswick, falling there into a range around 9 to 12 degrees. In the forecast for the north of New Brunswick for tomorrow, most high temperatures up between 15 and 19. And through central and southern areas of New Brunswick, high temperatures mostly high teens, low 20s, a little bit cooler in the southeast. Moncton tomorrow closer to 16 degrees. Prince Edward Island in the forecast, high temperatures 16 to 18 on Friday. A few showers expected to pass through. That change over to a breezy northwest wind. Cape Breton for tomorrow, highs of 19 to 22 and 19 to 21 degrees in eastern areas of Nova Scotia. Northern and central parts of the province, high temperatures Cumberland, Colchester counties, mostly between 17 and 20 degrees, so 21 at Truro. 22 for the city centers Halifax and Dartmouth. Same thing goes for Chester and Lunenburg. Near 19 degrees for the Annapolis Valley for tomorrow. 22 at Liverpool and Shelburne and 18 degrees at Yarmouth. Let's take a look at the outlook over the next several days for the Maritime region, beginning first with New Brunswick. So it is going to be cooler this weekend, especially during the nights. In fact, cool enough that there's probably going to be a risk of some patchy frost, at least at low-lying areas, both Friday night, Saturday night, and maybe Sunday night. Then temperatures moderate a little bit as we head towards the fall equinox on Monday. It's a mix of sun and cloud for Tuesday, chance of showers on Wednesday, mix of sun and cloud on Thursday of next week. For Nova Scotia, coming up on Saturday, so a little bit of a fall feel to the air. And even for that province, I'd say there is a risk of some patchy frost away from coastal areas and at low-lying elevations. So just keep that in mind for the weekend. On Monday, it's the equinox. And then after that, Tuesday, a mix of sun and cloud. Chance of showers on Wednesday and a mix of sun and cloud on Thursday of next week. Temperatures looking very seasonable through that stretch of days. And finally, for Prince Edward Island, cooler temperatures this weekend. Risk of patchy frost during the nights away from the coast. Temperatures moderating into Monday, which will be a mix of sun and cloud. Same thing goes for Tuesday of next week. We'll have a chance of showers on Wednesday, and then back to a mix of sun and cloud on Thursday. Todd.
Like to see a few more showers or something become of those showers, but another nice looking stretch, Kalen.
Yeah, sure is.
Yeah. Okay, we will see you at the end of the show. Next, the American ambassador to Canada joins us in studio for a conversation, and we have this story in entertainment.
I'm Katie Kelly. Tonight on The Scene, he's already a country star, but now Dallas Smith is making his big screen debut. I talked to him about his first leading role coming up.
5K Day is back. Make sure you join us for your first keyword tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. for your chance at $5,000.
And your shot at $100 to studio at 7:30. Good luck.
Welcome back on this Thursday evening. As you saw earlier in the newscast, the American ambassador to Canada is in the Maritime, spending a few days here, getting to know us, and we are pleased to be joined by Ambassador Pete Hoekstra this evening. Thank you for your time and offering us a few minutes. You got a busy schedule. Appreciate you coming in.
Thanks for the invite. It's great to be here. At least I think it's great to be here. We'll find out, right?
Oh, I'm sure. Why wouldn't it be? You've been here for a couple days. In the Maritimes, you've had a chance to meet with a number of people. What are you hoping to get out of this trip?
My fill of lobster, and we had one last night. No, I mean, my job is to present America's agenda to the Canadian people, to the Canadian government, to represent America. This is just one more opportunity to do that. We're trying to get to, obviously, to all the provinces, the territories, to communicate that, and to just have a dialogue with the Canadian people, with Canadian businesses. We've got such a strong and positive relationship to build and foster that for the future.
You met with some folks at Halifax International Airport.
Yep.
Travel, of course, is down. In the air to the U.S. and across the border, the land borders as well. There is a U.S. Customs pre-clearance center at Halifax Airport. If that trend continues, of fewer people flying to your country, is there a risk that we could lose that?
Not anytime soon, and we'd have to change dramatically. All right, pre-clearance is a huge benefit to the U.S. government, to America, to Americans, Canadian citizens as well. Unless the Canadians kick pre-clearance out of Halifax, it's here to stay.
All right.
Yeah.
And you commented today about people Canadians deciding not to travel to the States. You say Americans aren't doing the same thing here, and you've been very frank about it. That this is a bit of a it's hard to get your head around.
Yeah, I mean America. I mean you have politicians who are advocating don't travel to America. There's nobody on the American border who sees, who's saying, don't travel to Canada, don't buy American products. Matter of fact, ban them from, ban Canadian products from our shelves. It's kind of like, I don't know, that we're not there. We're not anywhere close to that. I mean, Canada right now has what? The best trade deal of any country in the world. When President Donald Trump came into office, he said, hey, we're going to change our trading regimen. There are things that we need to do to make America strong, to make America prosperous, and those types of things. So we're changing, and we're changing it for everybody in the whole world. And as a result, the UK came and said, hey, we want to negotiate a new deal with you, okay, a new framework. Check, done. The UK's done it. They've a whole bunch of countries, and disappointingly, we haven't been able to get to that final point with Canada at this time.
Well, let me ask you about that, because we haven't heard much from our federal government the last little while. I think the last comment that was made on discussions is that there were some technical things that were being talked about, and that's really been about it. Is there anything you can tell us about where the state of negotiations lie?
We opened the comment period for USMCA, or as we know it, CUSMA, as you know it. American businesses have the opportunity now for the 120 days to submit their comments in terms of how's it working, what are the problems, what are the issues, as we go through the negotiation process, which hopefully will be complete by July of 2026. It's a review process, so that's happening right now. So rather than coming up with a major rewrite, it looks like we're gonna slog through going through the technicalities, and we'll see what this agreement looks like between U.S. and Canada next summer. So there's always a possibility it'll change, or that we'll get to an agreement sooner than that. But other than that, that's the process that we will go through.
You don't see any major announcement about some of these things like steel and aluminum and lumber perhaps before then?
Oh, there may be. Yeah. Okay, but in terms of as a president would probably say, one big beautiful deal agreement, right now it looks like that's not on the table.
Does your administration want to see a bigger CUSMA or USMCA, more included in it? What do you think that will look like?
Well, I mean, I think after the president and the prime minister met, for the first time and talked about the trade opportunities and those types of things in the Oval Office, and then spent an hour and a half together in a lunch, there was significant talk about getting to a big deal that would, cover all the products covered under USMCA, but also energy, autos, steel, aluminum, and you go right through the list. All the things that we have strong ecosystems with today, as a partnership today, and as well as covering some of the new opportunity areas, critical minerals, artificial intelligence, data, digital, all of those kinds of things potentially could have been in that kind of a deal.
Well, let me ask you about critical minerals. What would your administration like to see the relationship be between the U.S. and Canada on critical minerals? Do you see the U.S. buying more from Canada? Do you want more involvement? You signed a deal with Ukraine. Is that something that is a model for more more deals?
Critical. They're called critical minerals for a reason. They're critical. We need them. We need access to them. I think both Canada and the U.S. recognize we're not going to get them from China. So the U.S. is, we're scouring the globe as to where we can get them. I think we'd love to have an agreement with Canada. We were already invested, I think, close to $100 million with various Canadian companies to do mining operations. We've invested through our Department of Defense to address the economic uncertainties and the high risks that come with some of these projects. And so we're supporting Canadian industry to develop. So obviously we see Canada as a real strong potential to be a partner in critical minerals.
You're from Michigan.
Yep.
The Auto Pack, you know it very well. Is that a framework, perhaps, in critical minerals with a supply chain like that?
All of those are possibilities. We just got, Our folks have spent a tremendous amount of time talking with the Canadians. We haven't reached that framework, but hopefully they will go through that, through all of those issues, and they'll go through it one way or another. I mean, we got to like a 7 or 8 page deal framework with the UK. That outlines a lot of the top line goals and objectives, and now a bunch of people are working through and implementing the details of that. It looks like we're starting the other way. We're taking a massive existing agreement. We're going through the process to review that, and then we'll see what changes come out of it. So there's a whole bunch of ways to skin this cat.
All right. Ambassador, thank you for your time. We appreciate you coming in tonight. Enjoy the rest of your visit to Maritimes. I understand you're off to New Brunswick. You'll be treated well there as well, of course.
Yeah, we're passionate about this relationship. It is a great relationship that we believe can get to be much bigger and much better.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
We will take a break. That's Ambassador Pete Hoekstra, and we'll be back with much more of your news after this. In the Lifeline tonight, why Canadian obstetricians are emphasizing that Tylenol is still safe to take in pregnancy. CTV's Amanda Debison has the details in the Lifeline.
Canada's obstetricians say Tylenol is safe to take in pregnancy.
This, as the Wall Street Journal recently reported, U.S. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. plans to link autism to the use of the common painkiller in pregnancy. The Society of Obstetricians and Gynecologists of Canada say there is no causal evidence linking prenatal exposure to acetaminophen and certain neurodevelopmental disorders. It also says untreated fever in pregnancy carries well-documented risks for both mother and baby, and calls pain management a human right that women should not be denied. A new study has found heat fueled by climate change led to an additional 16,500 deaths in Europe this summer. Researchers use climate models, weather data, mortality data, and peer-reviewed research methods to calculate how climate change influenced temperatures and deaths across 854 cities. They found climate change was responsible for 68% of the more than 24,000 estimated heat deaths this summer. Researchers noted these figures are likely on the low end, since the cities only make up about 30% of Europe's total population. The study was published by the Imperial College London and London School of Hygiene Tropical Medicine. Finally, we've all heard that it's important to stay active, but we are now beginning to appreciate the many benefits of consistent exercise. For starters, a new British Journal of Sports Medicine study suggests that consistent exercise can cut down your risk of death from heart problems by up to 40%. That's because working up a sweat helps improve heart health, keeps blood vessels supple, and reduces inflammation, which in turn lowers the chances of heart attack, stroke, and other chronic conditions. Even if you haven't worked out in a while, experts say it's never too late to get up from the couch. Start with a little extra movement each day and build from there. With Health and Medical News, I'm Amanda Debison for the Lifeline.
Thursday night, and we're on the scene with Katie Kelly. He is a country star in this country, and now Dallas Smith is adding actor to his resume?
So he's doing it in a big way. It's his very first movie, and he's taking on the starring role.
Okay.
Red, white, and apple pie, Rolex, suit and tie, granddaddy's caddy, signed up, sitting in the drive.
Canadian Country Music Award winner Dallas Smith has stepped into a brand new spotlight, the world of film. He's the star of Souls Road.
At the callback, I got news that it was for the lead of the movie, and I'd be in almost every scene. So at that point, my heart sunk in my stomach, and I was like, oh no, what did I get myself into?
I don't know if I quit the music business or the music business quit me.
Acting had crossed his mind before, but not in such a big way.
Yeah, I mean, like voice acting and like a small part on something was like, yeah, it was something that I thought would be very, very cool to do, something that would challenge me.
He says taking on the lead role came with its share of nerves.
I was more nervous once, leading up to it, really, because I really had no idea what I was getting myself into and how much work.
In Souls Road, Smith plays Ronan, an artist who's forced to face the mistakes of his past.
Yeah, it's a story about redemption, and there's a guy who was a musician in a town got a record deal, and followed the label's advice and ditched all the people that helped him get him.
His co-stars include Atlantic Canadians Alan Hocko, Josh Collins, and Charlie Gillespie.
We had a blast. It was 5 weeks of spending a lot of time together. So I made a lot of lifelong friends.
I'm not a solo act anymore. I'd love to get this band back together.
At its heart, Smith says the film holds a powerful message.
Just the human ability just to forgive and forget and move on and repair. That's really the main takeaway from this movie.
Good for him.
I watched the movie last night. I got a little sneak peek.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really, really good, and I'm really proud of him. Acting debut, and absolutely killed it. And a lot of Atlantic Canadians, like I mentioned in the movie, so that part's really cool too. Souls Road is screening on a multi-city film tour starting in Toronto tomorrow, and will stop in Halifax this Saturday.
Okay, something to do on Saturday. All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
We will be back right after this.
Mornings with Aaron and Peter. We're giving away $20,000 every week with Move's Dream Big, plus a daily bonus prize of $1,000.
Listen for your keywords weekdays, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. to win.
Our market report is back, and today the Dow finished the trading day up 124 points. NVIDIA is investing billions of dollars into a company the U.S. government has a stake in. BNN Bloomberg's Marilla Fernandez has the details.
NVIDIA announced today that it is investing $5 billion U.S. in Intel. The leading chip maker will buy shares of Intel, saying the two companies will partner to make custom data centers. This is seen as a lifeline for Intel, which has fallen behind other tech companies over the years. Intel shares jumped 25% on the news. Here's a look at how the trading day ended. The Canadian dollar is down to 72.48. West Texas Intermediate is down to 63.26. Western Canadian Select down 50 cents to 52.01. And the TSX is up 131 points for another record close today. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marilla Fernandez.
Let's go to the weather deck. Kaylin, you have one more look at the forecast.
Yeah, it's a mild evening out here, partly cloudy conditions, actually a very light shower falling. I'm out here just enjoying it without an umbrella because, of course, we haven't had a lot of wet weather lately, so it's nice to get at least a little bit, and it is just a little bit. Let's take a look at our viewer picture for tonight, and this is actually coming in from this morning. It's from Craig May and was taken very early in the morning hours. Beautiful kind of purples and violets in this picture from First Peninsula, Nova Scotia, or the area of First Peninsula, Nova Scotia, which is near Lunenburg, where for tomorrow, cloudy with sunny breaks, high temperature of 22 degrees, about a 30 or 40% chance of a shower throughout the day, so fairly low chance of a shower there. Day planner for tomorrow, first thing, starts off cloudy around the region. There'll be some patchy fog. There'll be some patchy showers around, highest chance of showers. Central southern areas, New Brunswick, western Prince Edward Island, morning temperatures mostly around the mid-teens. Moving into the afternoon, we start to see the sun break through, especially for New Brunswick, western areas of Nova Scotia. At that point in time, the highest chance of showers will be sort of towards eastern areas of Nova Scotia. And even there, as we move later into Friday evening and Friday night, those showers are expected to come to an end. Changing the wind direction for tomorrow, it'll be a northwest wind in the afternoon. There'll be some gusts between 20 and 40 kilometers per hour. Todd.
Our viewers never fail to impress. That was a great photo.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night, Kaylin. We'll wrap up the show tonight with something we like to do every year when they come out, and that is show you the finalists for this year's Toy Hall of Fame ceremony. These are the contenders. They include Tickle Me Elmo. Remember lining up to try to buy one of those? Connect 4, Furby, and Trivial Pursuit, which seems like should have been in there earlier. Over the years, 87 toys have been inducted into the Strong Museum of Play. The criteria for the toys that have achieved icon status and maintained their popularity over the years is to continue to fascinate young and old. Not sure Furby has done that. Trivial Pursuit certainly has, right? That'll do it for us. That's our look at the day here at home. Bruce Frisco has our late update at 11:30. CTVNewsAtlantic.ca updates anytime. The poll resides there as well. I'm Todd Battis. I hope to see you right back here tomorrow at 6 for your local news. Till then, have a good night.
CTV News, the Maritime's #1 newscast.